The headline reads, "The noose, the body reads. Set it afire, burn it down, let it cool, collect the nails, move on." We begin with the image of destruction, but not of chaos. The fragment is surgical in its brevity, ruthless in its clarity. 5 sentences, 5 acts, no wasted motion. This is no tantrum, this is procedure. Let us begin at the beginning, with the sentence that opens like a flint-striking stone, "Set it afire." This is not a gentle suggestion. It is an imperative. But what is the it? The fragment does not say. It could be anything. A building, a memory, a house you once called home, a rope hanging in a tree, a belief, a relationship, a self. This ambiguity is not a weakness, it is the strength of the line. For each reader, the it will surface unbidden. You know what it is. You always did. To set something afire is to relinquish control over it. Fire is the purest agent of transformation, and the most final. It does not apologize, it does not ask questions, it does not deliberate, it consumes, and by doing so, it releases the form from the substance. The old shape collapses. What was once intact, held together by memory or inertia or obligation, is now undone. Burn it down. This is not the same as the first sentence. The first is the spark. This is the commitment. Here the fire is not a flicker, but a force. To burn it down is to take it to completion. No half measures, no preservation of the facade. The phrase "burn it down" is common in revolutionary speech because it signals not the desire to modify, but the intention to erase. There is something holy here, not holy in the sense of solemn robes and incense, but holy in the old way. Fire as purifying, fire as judgment, fire as end and beginning. It is worth noting the one who sets the fire is the one who watches it burn. The speaker is not absent from the scene. They are not outsourcing the destruction. They do it themselves. This is important. It is easy to fantasize about escape, harder to face the flames of your own lighting. And then, surprisingly, let it cool. This is where wisdom enters. Anyone can burn a thing, but only the wise wait for the ashes to settle. The fire is not the end. What you do after the fire is what determines whether you are simply a destroyer or something more. Let it cool is a gesture of patience, of pacing. There is no rush. The transformation has occurred. Now the embers must rest. One must not reach into the ruin while it is still hot with anger or grief or longing. To grasp too quickly is to scar oneself on the remnants of what was. This line also honors time. Fire moves fast. Cooling takes longer. It is here the speaker recognizes that healing is not in the heat, but in the pause that follows. And then comes the most cryptic line of all, "Collect the nails." What could this mean? It is a quiet instruction, easily overlooked, but profound. After the burning, after the waiting, do not leave empty-handed. Collect the nails. This suggests care, memory, salvage. The structure may be gone, but not everything must be discarded. Nails are binding things. They are what held the shape together. And now that the form is gone, the fasteners remain. Nails are reusable. They are small, cold, sharp, simple, and they are evidence. To collect the nails is to gather the truth, the hard facts. The irreducible remains. It is not romantic. It is forensic. Maybe it's a list of lessons. Maybe it's the contracts, the court records, the receipts. Or maybe, more poetically, it is the steel wisdom that remains once the wooden illusions have burned. Nails are heavy in the hand. They carry weight, and perhaps they are carried forward to build something new, or perhaps they are pocketed as reminder of what held and what gave way, and finally move on. There is no exclamation here, no flourish, just the closing door. Move on, not begin again, not rebuild, not rise from the ashes. No, this is not triumphalist. It is pragmatic. Move on. There is something adult in this line, something sober, something clean, not cruel but not indulgent either. The phrase implies that to linger is to rot, that after the burning, after the cooling, after the salvaging, there is still life to be lived. The noose, after all, is not just a device of death. It is a symbol, a threat, a warning, a trap, a lie, and sometimes it is a life you built for yourself. To burn it down is not to hate it, it is to release it. It is to recognize that some things cannot be untied, they must be undone. And when the knot will not loosen, the rope must go. There is an economy of soul here. The fragment gives us no name, no narrative, just action. This is wisdom stripped of romance, truth without commentary. It could be a battle cry, or it could be a quiet note taped to the mirror of someone who just saved their own life. Let us return now to the headline, The Noose. What is a noose? A loop, a knot, a snare. A symbol of judgment, of hanging, of silence, of finality. It is a structure designed for a single purpose, termination. And yet the fragment does not say cut the noose. It says burn it down, as if to say it is not enough to escape the trap, one must destroy it, because if left hanging it may one day be used again. The noose in this reading may be addiction, or a belief system, or an abusive household, or a cycle of self-hatred. The nails, then, are the small, painful reminders of what held the thing together, the rationalizations, the bargains, the quiet tolerances. To collect the nails is to take responsibility for what you once accepted, and to move on is not to forget, but to refuse to be defined by the architecture of your former bondage. There is no guarantee of joy in this fragment. There is no assurance that what comes next will be easier, but there is freedom, earned freedom, not granted. Freedom born of fire, cooled by time, made wise by memory, and carried forward not as a banner, but as a bag of nails in the pocket. Not to hurt, but to remember, and maybe one day to build again, something smaller, something truer, something that doesn't end in a knot. That is the geometry of release. That is the shape of the burned rope, lying flat, powerless, beside the steel reminders of what once held it taut. So, set it afire, burn it down, let it cool, collect the nails, move on. There is no need to say more, there is nothing else to do.